Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. And boy, have we had a box set bonanza recently. First, we got the Warner Zell box, which was wonderful. And now, from Supraphon comes Ivan Moravec, a portrait. Oh, this is so great. This is like, a pianophile's dream. And although I'm not as crazy a pianophile as some of my pianophile friends, this is, greatness speaks for itself, doesn't it? And boy, is this greatness. This is an 11 CD set with a DVD, and it's got all kinds of fabulous stuff in it. It's not the complete Moravec. The complete Moravec would be twice this, but it's a very, very nice selection of some of his best material. And Jed, our fabulous piano guy, Jed Distler, has reviewed it on ClassicsToday.com for those of you who are Classics Today insiders, with some comparative sound clips and things, which are very, very nice. So do have a chance to go look at that review. But in the meantime, I get to talk about it too, because I just love Ivan Moravec's work. He was the nicest guy too. Really, just the most pleasant and humble person you've ever met in your life. I've said this before about him. An amazing, amazing artist. And for most of his career, he didn't have regular management. You just had his number and you picked him up and you called the phone and said, "Hey, you want to give a concert?" He'd say, "Oh, okay," and then he would come and do the concert. I had his phone number. I used to chat with him. And he was just the most approachable human being you ever met. A completely normal person in the sense of, his interpersonal communications. When it came to music, he was anything but a normal person. He was a fanatical perfectionist. He spent years and years learning and polishing a very limited repertoire before he would allow it to become public. He was just such an amazing guy, and that's what makes it wonderful to talk about him. He's the kind of artist that you hardly see anymore today. And he was really noted for being an exceptional, he was a chord guy. He was not a line guy. He wasn't into polyphony. He was into touch and tone and having a perfectly regulated instrument. His two heroes, and it really sort of says it all, were Walter Gieseking, the great German Debussy pianist, and Michelangelo, who was, of course, the perfectionist to end all perfectionists. And those are some models to take. And he was in every way worthy of them. He really, truly was. So his repertoire was somewhat limited. His recordings were somewhat limited, and they were all over the place. They were mostly on Supraphon and Nonsuch and Connoisseur Society, which made them very hard to get. Now they're on VAI and Vox. And he did a few recordings for Dorian. And, he basically, when someone wanted him to make a record, if he thought that they were serious, if he thought that they cared, if they would give him the conditions that he demanded, he would do it. It was that simple. And for that reason, he didn't have, regular label relationships like a lot of other artists do. And so pulling together a complete Moravec set is really kind of difficult. He also did some recordings for Hensler. It's really amazing, how spread out it is. And so this has been a labor of love, putting this set together, and it's beautifully, beautifully done. I'm just going to tell you what's on it. I'm going to play you a clip, and you will know all that there is to know about this absolutely amazing and remarkable artist, and just lovely, lovely person. Really, just such a terrific guy. First of all, you get a very nice booklet. It has a tribute to Moravec, plus a translation in English of a lengthy interview. And there's a DVD that I have to tell you about, because the DVD is fabulous, really fabulous and important historically. So, what do we get on the 11 discs? Disc 1, 3 Mozart piano concertos, numbers 14, 23, and 25. Now, he remade a couple of these on Hensler with Neville Marriner and the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. Those are not in here. These are the ones he did with the Czech Chamber Orchestra, conductorless, for numbers 14 and 23. And number 25 is, he has Joseph Lach conducting the Czech Philharmonic, which is wonderful. And his Mozart is just timelessly beautiful. I mean, you don't think about things like period this or anything like that. It's just solid musical virtues, a gorgeous singing tone, which we know Mozart wanted, perfect fingerwork, totally beautiful balances, real interplay between the piano and the orchestra. I mean, they're just great. Absolutely great. Then we get some Beethoven sonatas and piano concertos. Yes, piano concerto number 3 with the Czech fill under Neumann. Number 4, which is my reference recording for number 4, with Martin Tarnowski and the orchestra of the Wiener Musikverein, and sonata number 27. And that's Opus 90. And they are, wonderful performances. The third isn't quite as distinctive as the fourth. Jed pointed that out too, and that's true, but it's a wonderful performance and absolutely first rate. Then a disc that I reviewed separately, but it has more on it now. They've added some stuff, which is great. Beethoven piano sonatas, the Pathétique, the Moonlight, and the Les Adieux, and the Pastoral, and the two bagatelles, including Für Elise, and you will never hear a more gorgeous account of Für Elise. It's absolutely amazing. This was my go-to ultimate Beethoven sonata disc, and I did a whole separate talk about it because it's just such a great disc. And then we start dealing with Chopin. Now, Moravec was unquestionably one of the greatest Chopin pianists that ever existed. And I'm going to be able to play you a little example to show you why. First, you get all the ballades, the 4 ballades. I mean, his ballades are, when I did my ideal Chopin, I used Christian Zimmermann, but I could just as easily have used Moravec. But I used Moravec, I think, for the preludes. So, I was doing different pianists, but his ballades are magnificent. The 4 scherzi, which he recorded for Dorian. And that was a disc that, people don't usually remember or talk about, and it's just as fabulous as the ballades. And then you get the 24 preludes. Now this is the Supraphon recording, which was done a little bit later than his earlier Connoisseur Society recording. I think that they're 6 in one, half dozen in the other. They're both marvelous. I mean, he was one of the great Chopin preludists that was ever out there. And I'm going to play you a sample of the A flat prelude number 17. Which I just love. There's something about it that blows my mind. But I think it really reveals Moravec's artistry. And particularly what it reveals to me, anyway, is first of all, the perfectly judged rubato. Because it's all about repeated chords. Dum, bum, 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 bum. And the tune da, 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 right? But he manages to shape those chords, to generate tension, to generate climax, just by his slight modifications of the rhythm. It's absolutely fabulous. And then there's the perfect balance between left hand and right hand, particularly to get the bass notes to really propel the melody forward. It's just a gorgeous moment. I'm going to play the climax of that prelude, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So here it is. And just an amazing artist at work. That's what he is, and it's that simple. So you get the preludes, and the Polonaise Fantasy in A flat major, and the second sonata, which was a late Vox recording that I actually had a hand in setting up, with Vox Records when he recorded that in New York, and that was very exciting to be involved in that. And then we have Chopin, the mazurkas, lots of mazurkas, not all of them. He did 17 of them. And the first Polonaise in C sharp minor, and then 3 waltzes and the barcarolle. So that's disc 6. Now we're on to 7. let's see, another Appassionata Sonata. Did we do the Appassionata Sonata? We didn't do that already, did we? What was the other Beethoven thing here? It was Moonlight, Pathétique. No, it wasn't the Appassionata, was it? Maybe it was. And Les Adieux, right? Never mind me. Okay, the Appassionata Sonata, Schumann's Kindersehnen, a delicious performance of Schumann's Kindersehnen, the Arabesca in C major, a couple Brahms piano pieces, the Capriccio in B minor, Opus 76 number 2, the Rhapsody in G minor, and 3 intermezzi from Opus 117, and the intermezzo in A major from Opus 118 number 2. Now, some of this stuff is new to CD, actually. And, it's really wonderful that they were able to dig it out from Nonsuch or wherever it came from. It's just unbelievable that, how scattered a lot of this legacy is. And it's just such an important legacy in the history of 20th century pianism. So, CD 8. This is the Schumann and Brahms piano concertos. These are both with the Dallas Symphony under Eduardo Mata. Now, Moravec did the Brahms and the Schumann both. And I actually prefer his Supraphon Schumann, but I like this Brahms a little better. Jed feels the opposite. He likes the Bieloslavek Brahms for a little better, but I think this is more interesting, not just for Moravec, but because Mata and Dallas play the accompaniments with more firmness and more muscle than Bieloslavek and the Czech Philharmonic, at least in the first concerto. The second concerto is another matter. So I like this first concerto better. It's a live recording. The sound was always a little bit muffled, but it's nice to have. For the Schumann, though, if you can find his first version, I think it's with Neumann on Supraphon. It's now coupled with the Franck Symphonic Variations and the Kindersehnen. That's a great disc to own, and it's not in here. So that's worth keeping in mind. Oh, yes, Debussy. Now, Moravec was absolutely one of the great Debussy guys, and again, extremely selective in what he recorded. You get the 2 books of Images, you get the Estampes, the sketches, Estampes, you get Pour le Piano and Children's Corner and Clair de Lune, which is just, oh God, it's gorgeous. I keep saying it's great. It's great. What am I supposed to tell you? It's just great. This is a guy who never did anything unless he knew it was going to be superb. When somebody has that level, those high standards, he and his wife, he would tell me about Richter. We would talk about Richter because, Richter was making all these records. Some of them sounded terrible. And he would get this pained expression on his face. And his wife did too. And they would say, he just didn't care. He just would play anywhere, on any piano. He just played and played, and if it sounded lousy and the piano was out of tune, he didn't care. He would look heartbroken, absolutely crestfallen, because he knew what a great artist he was, but he also, couldn't believe that as such a great artist, he was not interested in making sure that everything that he did was worthy of him. And I just think it was a wonderful sort of testament to his own self-image and standards. It really was. Anyway, CD 10, Franck, the Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue, which is a rarity. That's such a great piece. 21 minutes of major work, and you'll never hear it better done. Then a selection of Debussy preludes. Let's see how many we get. 8 of them. And then the Ravel Sonatine and the Vocalise Etude en forme de habanera. Ooh, that's so much fun. Absolutely beautiful. CD 11 is Czech music. You get Janáček's Sonata, the piano sonata, and you get In the Mists, which is such a beautiful work that also doesn't get anything like the recognition it deserves. And 3 numbers from the first series of On an Overgrown Path, and some Martinu, Etudes and Polkas, 3 of those, 4 Smetana Czech dances, and 2 other Smetana pieces, the Polka Poetique and Memories from Pilsen, another polka. And that's CD 11. And finally, a DVD. Now, this DVD is fabulous. You get a 57-minute long interview with English subtitles of Moravec, which is fascinating. I don't usually watch these DVDs. I usually don't care. But this one, because you get him playing the Beethoven C minor variations, you get another Beethoven Appassionata Sonata, the Appassionata, and you get Prokofiev's first piano concerto with Karl Ancherl in black and white, and Mozart's 25th concerto with the Czech Philharmonic and Vlach, which is on the recording, and you get the Ravel G major with Neumann and Moravec. And this is a wonderful, it's in color, it's a wonderful performance. And the Ravel G major was a piece that was really, really close to Moravec. He also wanted to do Gaspard de la Nuit, but he never felt he was quite ready to do it. But the Ravel G major was one of those pieces. He re-recorded it with Moravec, and it's a very gentle, sensitive performance. It's coupled with the remake of the Beethoven Fourth, but I don't think that version is as good as this one. And there was another live one he did. He sent me a tape of it, actually. He sent it to me, and that was one he always wanted released too. He has somewhere, somebody has got lots of live Moravec tapes, because he seemed to have, he wanted tapes of most of his performances, and I guess he collected them. So at some point, maybe, who knows, we'll get some live Moravec stuff from his own collection. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? And of course, there's more than enough room now on this for another Moravec box, for a complete Moravec, where you'll get all this twice. Wouldn't that be annoying? Or perhaps just, volume 2, second portrait. That would be fun too, including, for example, that Schumann and the Chopin nocturnes, which were on Nonsuch, but now are on Supraphon, and the Dvorak piano concerto, which was a piece he loved, but had sort of an ambivalent attitude towards the versions. I asked him about that. I said, Firkuzhny was doing now the original version of it. What do you think of the original version? And he just, again, he'd get this pained look on his face, and he would just say, oh, no. He used the Wilhelm Kurtz rewrite. He's like, no, it's not pianistic. It's not. So he always played the revised version by Kurtz. And, Supraphon released 2 versions of the Dvorak concerto, the original and the revised one with Moravec. It was on a disc with, the same piece twice. I don't know if that's still around, but, he was always so sure of what was right for him and what he wanted. And so it's wonderful hearing this and seeing it come out, that he's getting the tribute that he deserves. I'm sorry it didn't happen while he was still alive, but I have such wonderful memories of him personally, and of his artistry in concert, and of his recordings, and the pleasure that they gave me, and the pleasure they're going to give you. One of the great, great artists of the 20th century in any medium, Ivan Moravec on Supraphon. 11 CDs, 1 fantastic DVD. You need to own it. So keep on listening, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.